was to make this even a nicer office building. But then COVID happened and changed everything about where and how we work. I want to commend Richie and Gary Cohen of Wilco for having the foresight to change their vision for this building early in the pandemic, from a place where people work to a place where people call home. The L is the first large-scale office-to-residential conversion in the Golden Triangle. Yay! And it's the future home downtown for hundreds of DC residents. Since the Cohens began this conversion, the mayor released her DC comeback plan, which created a framework for a new downtown. Our bid worked with the downtown bid to develop recommendations for implementing this comeback plan and the mayor's vision. We call this new document the Downtown Action Plan, and it was released 2 weeks ago. Both plans reimagine the business district as a resilient, mixed-use downtown that is welcoming and alluring for all. It makes so much sense. Downtown is the center of it all, both geographically and metaphorically. We have wide, walkable sidewalks and a world-class transportation infrastructure here. Our streets are clean, beautiful, and pop with colorful landscaping for most of the year. You can walk to restaurants, shops, your gym, your doctor, and of course, your office, which is the new paradigm. Richie and Gary are two of the many change makers leading the Golden Triangle's transformation. Others are bringing art and culture, as we saw last Friday with Artomatic. They're bringing innovation, workforce development programs, and universities. Now when I walk by this building, I smile because I know and I see the progress towards our reimagined downtown. And so right now, it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce our mayor, Muriel Bowser.
Well, good morning, everyone, and I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank Leona for her incredible leadership. The Golden Triangle bid, along with the Downtown DC bid, released a very thorough, well-thought, and executable plan for the downtown just a couple of weeks ago. So please give Leona a big round of applause. I was reminded that we were here about 18 months ago, though it seems to me like it was yesterday, probably not to the builders. In touring this building, we can really see and put to life what it means to turn a office building into a place where people live. And I just really can't wait to see what the 163 units look like, although we got a great view of what it can be today. So I too congratulate Gary Cohen and Richie Cohen and the entire Wilco team. Give them a big round of applause. And in fact, Leona said it's the first major conversion to happen in the Golden Triangle. And it will be the first in the downtown in its entirety to come online. So that is a really big deal. We have been very focused on what the action plan means for downtown DC. And we know that it is what the future looks like for the 320,000 employees in the downtown and the 25,000 residents. And 16 million annual visitors. So it's a tremendous base of opportunity, and we are excited to invest in it. Leona mentioned how our 5-year economic development strategy, or our comeback plan, outlines some goals for the downtown, including adding 15,000 new residents. And we want to add a total of 40,000 more residents to the entirety of Washington. So what does that mean for the downtown? It means we'll have more community spaces and civic spaces integrated into the downtown, along with great neighborhood serving retail. It also means that we will further diversify our economy, and office conversions, both residential to retail and to other uses, will be a huge part of that. You've heard me say before that this pandemic taught us some things that we knew already about the need to diversify our spaces. We are 87% commercial uses in the downtown compared to 13% residential uses. So getting to a better mix of residential to commercial will make for a more vibrant neighborhood. You should know this. DC leads the country in office to residential conversions. Did you hear me? DC leads the country. We currently have 11 projects in our pipeline, including in addition to 5 under construction. So those projects are incredibly encouraging, and the city wants to do our part to make those happen. So today we are launching our Housing in Downtown program. This is a transformative program that we first announced right here back in December 22, and it's only fitting that we're able to roll it out today. The Housing in Downtown program will offer a 20-year residential property tax. That's a big deal. And the program is competitive with caps at $2.5 million for the first 3 fiscal years, 6.8 in 27, and then expanding to $41 million in FY28. And so based on our analysis, the Housing in Downtown program alone will help us achieve 90% of our 15,000 residential goal. So I want to again recognize all of our friends and stakeholders who have been a part of this process. I want to acknowledge Deputy Mayor Nina Albert and her team, who will work with our downtown development community to tee up great projects that the district can partner with. And I also want to thank all of the stakeholders that are in the room for your feedback. The Housing in Downtown program application is now live on the DMPED website, and the submission window will open on March 22nd. And we'll have even more to share at DMPED's March Madness that will be held this Wednesday. We look forward to continuing to work with all of you to ensure the success of this program. The Wilco team has shown that it can be done, and it can be done beautifully, and the L will always be a path-breaking project. So I want to thank you again for inviting me today, and now introduce Gary Cohn of Wilco.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. So when my grandfather and his partners purchased this property in the early 60s, they took a risk. This site was tenement housing, and across the street was the DuPont junkyard. My grandfather believed this part of town could one day become offices, shops, hotels, and restaurants. He built the first office building right here, which became the catalyst of what we now know as the Golden Triangle. It was this type of risk that contributed to DC's transformation from a small, sleepy town into a thriving metropolis. History has always proven that people want to live, work, and play in cities. They want to be part of a vibe, the action, the melting pot, where people from different backgrounds live across the hall from another, or drum up a conversation with random people at a local bar. The great thing about living in cities are the intangibles that you feel, smell, see, and experience. The city itself is an amenity that cannot be duplicated anywhere else. It's no secret that cities across the country, including DC, are going through challenging times. But this is no different from the challenging times we've experienced in the past. The only difference is we're all living it right now. As a third-generation Washingtonian, I've seen over the years local leaders take action to fight crime and implement creative strategies to incentivize developers to reinvest in the city in order to bring people back and strengthen the tax base. This is exactly what Mayor Bowser, Deputy Mayor Nina Albert, Leona, and Council Member Brooks Pinto and Kenya McDuffie are doing. The answer is not to run away, but to work together, get creative, take some risks, and reinvest in our city. L Apartments will be the first office to residential conversion to deliver in DC and one of the first in the country. Wilco and our team undertook this project because we believe that people and business want to come back to the city. You just need to give them a reason. And L Apartments will be one of those reasons. Pre-leasing starts in April. Delivery will be in July. We'll see you this summer for the grand opening. Thank you.
So Gary, you might want to just leave that speech with me. Let me have that speech. I'm going to use that speech. And I'm going to actually, I'm going to send our team and we're going to record it again, right to camera, because that's the message. Be bold, let's be creative, and you can never give up on cities. And because cities are the heart of what American life is. And so I, too, want to acknowledge, before I turn to Councilmember McDuffie for a few remarks, members of my team who are here. A great part of our public education team in the district is Dr. Muriel Eddington, who is the relatively new president of the University of the District of Columbia. So please give Dr. Eddington a round of applause. And the Director Hanlon, who is the director of the Department of Buildings, formerly known as DCRA, so he has something to do with getting open in July. So thank you to Director Hanlon and his entire team. Anita Cozart is here. She's the director of the Office on Planning. And Colleen Green is here, who is the director of the Department of Housing and Community Development. So a partner in all of this work with us, and I see our former Ward 2 Councilmember Jack Evans in the building, so good to see you, Jack. A partner in our work on all of this, including how we managed a pretty bold legislative proposal focused on the downtown through the Council of the District of Columbia, is at-large council member and chair of the Economic Development Committee, Kenya McDuffie. Please join me, council member.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning to everybody. I'm really delighted to be here and take this tour. I want to acknowledge Gary and the entire family, the Cohen family, as well as the whole team at Wilco. It was really great to be able to get up and down, to see the views from the rooftop. I was wondering, what kind of feeling I would get when I took this tour today, and being able to see it with the sun shining gives you a sense of what it's going to be like when 163 residents start to occupy this building later this year. And I get excited about that. Why? Because it's part of the comeback, right? You heard Mayor Bowser. I want to acknowledge Mayor Bowser, Deputy Mayor Nina Albert, Leona at the bid, Dr. Eddington, but really the work that's gone into getting to this point. You heard Gary talk about what this place was like when his grandfather bought it all those years ago. And it was really a different time then. And I think what we're experiencing in the District of Columbia in 2024 is different than where we were 20 years ago. But it's inspiring, at least to me, to know that we've already put some tools in place to facilitate these types of office to housing conversions. And as the mayor mentioned, she sent this proposal down to the council, and we worked diligently with her administration, with my colleagues at the council, to make sure that the funding is in place. And we really expect that when these conversions start to happen, I think there are already, 11 that are in the queue, 5 already happening, that it's going to be one more reason that people are going to want to be in the District of Columbia. We're going to continue to work, and that's the message I want everybody to take away today. The mayor, the council, working together to make sure that we do things like this, support the efforts that are going to transform our downtown back into a place where people want to live, work, and play. Emphasis on live, because we know that when we support the types of projects that we've done over the years, like at Union Market, like at the Southwest Waterfront, like at Capitol Riverfront, then people will come and they will live, work, and raise their families in the District of Columbia. So I'm excited to be a part of this tour today. Can't wait to join when they cut the ribbon on this place, and also work together to make sure we have many more examples of what it's going to look like in the District of Columbia as we continue to march toward that comeback. Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Thank you to the team.
Okay, I could take a few questions, press questions, and yes, sir.
This question is for you, Mayor Bowser, as well as Councilmember McDuffie. In the spirit of collaboration, talking about the funding, this question is focused on TOPA, the Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act, with provisions of it being chipped away, the most recent being the exemption on conversions like this. What does the future of affordable housing look like in this city with us expanding these conversions? What happens to those who are not able to afford to live in places like this?
Well, we feel very proud of the adjustments that we feel are needed to incentivize the type of conversion here. Because but for a dynamic program that's responsive to the needs in the community, we wouldn't perhaps not have any conversions. So we're very focused on attracting 15,000 folks or more. Many people think that's a conservative goal. I'm kind of one of them, because I think we're gonna get it done. But we have to send the clear message to the market that this is a place to invest, and that we're going to have a policy environment, including regulations, including steady funding that attracts people to invest in the district, create units in the district, and deliver for DC residents. Any other questions?
I have a follow-up.
Sure.
So to what extent does that become out of hand as it relates to DC residents? Because we're talking about cost of living, we're talking about Washingtonians who have been here, who have seen their family members moved out to Ward 9, PG County, or even as far as Charles County. What does that look like when it looks like the DC Council and the executive are kowtowing with developers, especially given, again, with TOPA being chipped away at little by
Well,
little?
this is my message. We have a lot of great programs in the district that encourage affordable housing, including TOPA, including our investments in the Housing Production Trust Fund, including our investments in first-time home ownership. But every development is not going to have every program. And so we have to invest across a spectrum of programs in order to develop in the way that we want. So let me also be clear about something. It is necessary to have a vibrant downtown so that we can make the types of investments that we want in all 8 wards. Any other questions? Yes.
A few years ago, the city missed an opportunity to buy the Wardman Hotel.
I'm sorry?
A few years ago, the city missed an opportunity to buy the Wardman Hotel, and it's being turned into 1,000 luxury units, almost none of it affordable. Now, there's an opportunity with the Harrington Hotel downtown to revitalize the city again, and we hope this will not be another missed opportunity. Can you do something about acquiring the Harrington Hotel?
Let me look into that, and we'll see what we can do. And what the city does, let me just explain our approach to affordable housing. We're not developers, but we do partner with the development community to get the types of amenities that we want in our city. For example, the Housing in Downtown program will help promote more residential downtown. I talked to you about our numbers. So a development of the Harrington would likely follow a model such as that. Yes.
Hi, I have one on-topic question and one off-topic question. On topic, a couple years ago, as recently as a few years ago, your office put something out that it was a 92% to 8% balance, and then you just said it's, I think, 87 and 13. Do you have an ideal sort of balance going forward that you sort of would like to see? And also, can you just talk about the complexities of sort of forecasting what the right mix is in a post-pandemic environment?
Well, I'm going to ask the deputy mayor to weigh in, or Leona if she wants to weigh in. When we look at even neighborhoods in DC that fared better in the pandemic, it was a greater mix, and I don't know if Director Kozart wants to weigh on what that mix is. I don't know that there's a perfect formula, but we're thinking approaching 30% is better.
Topic question, announcement over the weekend that FanDuel would be sort of becoming the main sports betting platform in the District of Columbia. Were you looped in on those conversations, and do you have any remaining concerns about Intralot sort of being involved in the process, given some of the issues that were involved with Intralot and Gambit DC?
The CFO did brief me on their intent to make a change in their contractor, subcontractor. I think that's the way it goes. My concern will be broadly about the overall contract, which I think should be rebid coming up. And so we'll be looking for what that process is.
So just to follow up, you wish there was a more competitive bid process as opposed to the DC lottery sort of seeming to unilaterally make this decision?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, can you please clarify?
This sports contract is a subcontract to the lottery contract, and the lottery contract will be rebid at some point soon. I don't have it off the top of my head, and I think that's what we will pay very close attention to.
Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Maybe Mr. Cohn can answer this question.
Sure.
I'm curious about the challenges of taking a building like this and making it into a residential complex that people are going to want to live in. These days, they want all these amenities. They want a coffee bar and a bar and free food and all that.
Well, good. They can come to the L.
What were the challenges in taking an office building and making it into a residential place that people are going to want to live in?
There are a lot, but this building checked a few boxes for us. 4 sides of light and air. It was rebar structural, not post-tension. The ceiling heights, slab to slab, were 10 feet. So our units average about 9 feet ceiling heights. The window lines worked. The column spacing worked. So those were the big challenges of, okay, as the shell, it actually works. Now, you got to do a lot of core drilling for new MEP. Okay, that was a challenge as well. But when you have a structure that's not that's rebar, okay, and not post tension, it makes it much easier because you can lay out the units. You have a lot more flexibility, and also location. I mean, this is a great location. West End is right there, DuPont Circle, Foggy Bottom. We felt like we were centrally located in an area where that transition of residential to commercial could happen naturally. We have a lot of amenities. We have a rooftop pool. We have an outdoor terrace with grills, fire pit. We have co-working spaces. We have a community room. We have a dog park and pet spa. So we have all the bells and whistles, and we knew we had to do that in order to attract people. And also, we have 8,000 square feet of ground floor retail with 23-foot ceilings. And we think it's important to get the right tenant, restaurant / bar, some type of food service to activate the corner and to serve as an additional amenity to the residents above.
Mayor, can I ask an off-topic question?
Sure.
You're going to sign the crime bill legislation today?
I am.
Okay. As far as the cost is concerned, the total bill somewhere in the area of $46 million. But we're curious about the DNA collection part of this. Are you going to have enough money to put that into effect right away? Because I think that's going to cost $10 million.
I don't have the figures off the top of my head, Paul, but we're working on it. I don't know what the numbers off the top.
Okay. Can you, though, say whether or not the city's going to have the money to pay for this bill right away, or are you going to have to lay off some of it down the road?
Well, there are like 100 provisions in this bill, most of which have no fiscal impact, and so they're going to go into effect. I'm looking, and when you say those numbers, it sounds like you're referring to the whole 4-year plan, our budget plan, not just this year. So it could be spread over the next, over the entire budget plan that I submit to the council.
And can I ask about the ACC tournament coming to town this week?
Okay.
What's the economic impact of that? And if you lost that, if Monumental goes across the river? Is there anything on that?
Do you have it off the top? Let me ask Nina for that.
I don't have the exact number for the ACC tournament, but let me just tell you, when there's an event like that, people are coming and dining before the event. They're here in the city, going to hotels. So we know that every event, every conference is a huge boon to the city. In terms of timing, ACC is looking at coming, I think it's either this year or next. So any pending or prospective move of Monumental Sports wouldn't impact that.
Do you have a number off the top of your head on what this means to the city economically?
Yeah, I don't know right now, but I think that we would, I could come back with you. It's based on the number of anticipated visitors and what the average, spend per visitor is. So I think that the average visitor to the district is around $3,000 per day. So just multiply that by how many fans you can expect to join.
What would it mean if Leon just takes everything across the river?
Well, it wouldn't impact the ACC tournament, as it would be able to move forward while they're here.
Okay, I'll take a couple more. Yes.
Hey, Mayor, Matt Delaney with the Washington Times. Quick off topic. What's the status of MPD's Real-Time Crime Center? I believe it was supposed to launch by the end of last month.
Yes, we had some delays and some delivery. So as soon as we have all the items delivered and ready to go, we'll be opening it. I anticipate that it's weeks away.
And just to say percentage closeness to being complete, or those parts coming in?
That would be a wild guess, but I would say that most of what they were expecting is in, but some critical pieces have to be delivered. Yes.
Just to follow up, we know on Friday you mentioned that the $500 million offer to Monumental remains on the table. Just to follow up from that, what, if any, conversations have you had
I'm
with
not talking
Monumental?
about any conversations I'm having with them. Anything else? All right. Thank you, everybody.